What would you do if your spouse sent you a text message out of the blue, announcing a divorce, then vanished with your kids and drained your life savings? This is the gut-wrenching story of Michael Thompson, a man whose world was shattered in a single afternoon, only to fight back with resilience and uncover shocking truths. Buckle up for a tale of betrayal, desperation, and hard-won justice that will leave you questioning trust, loyalty, and the lengths one will go to protect their family. Michael Thompson, a 52-year-old corporate finance manager in suburban Atlanta, was the kind of man who lived for his family. He worked grueling hours at his downtown office, often staying late to crunch numbers, all to provide for his wife, Laura, and their two kids, Emily, 10, and Jacob, 8. His life revolved around soccer games, dance recitals, and making sure his family had everything they needed. Laura, however, had a taste for the finer things: designer handbags, luxury vacations that strained their finances. Michael noticed her growing distance over the past year, her once warm smiles replaced by cold silences. He tried to talk, but she brushed him off, leaving him to focus on his kids to avoid conflict. One crisp October afternoon in 2024, as Michael sat at his desk reviewing spreadsheets, his phone buzzed with a text from Laura. "I'm filing for divorce. We're done." His heart stopped. Divorce? Out of nowhere. He called her immediately, but she didn't answer. He texted back, pleading for counseling, but got no reply. Stunned, he tried to focus on work, but his mind raced. Was she serious? Was this a bad day? By the time he got home to their quiet, tree-lined neighborhood, the real nightmare began. The house was eerily empty. Emily and Jacob's rooms were stripped bare, clothes, toys, backpacks gone. Laura's closet was half empty. Michael's knees buckled. He drove around the neighborhood, hoping to spot Laura's SUV, but found nothing. His stomach churned, not just from panic, but because he hadn't eaten all day. At a nearby Burger King, his debit card was declined. Confused, he paid with a credit card and rushed to an ATM. The screen showed a balance of $5. Their joint account, which held $87,000 for a new house, was wiped clean. Laura had taken it all. Michael could have lost it right there, but he forced himself to stay calm. Back home, he called friends, family, anyone who might know where Laura and the kids were. No one had answers. Laura's phone was disconnected, and she'd blocked him on social media. By midnight, frantic, he called the police. They issued an Amber Alert for Emily and Jacob and began tracking Laura's car. Michael barely slept, haunted by the thought that the woman he loved had torn his life apart. The next day, Michael called in sick and tore through Laura's desk for clues. What he found was worse than he imagined. Bank statements for a secret account in her mother's name and records of an illegal dropshipping business run from their home. Laura had been hiding income, evading taxes, and Michael had no idea. He handed the evidence to the police, who used it to track transactions. A week later, they found Laura in a motel in Tennessee, 300 miles away, with Emily and Jacob. But the plot thickened. Laura claimed she fled to save herself and the kids, accusing Michael of physical and emotional abuse. Michael was floored. Abuse? He'd never laid a hand on his family. Laura's lies spread like wildfire, with mutual friends receiving messages about his supposed cruelty. The police, Child Protective Services, and a judge got involved. Laura and the kids returned to Atlanta, staying in a hotel under supervision. Michael filed for emergency custody, determined to clear his name and protect his children. The legal battle was brutal. Michael's lawyer presented evidence of Laura's financial crimes, while Laura doubled down on her abuse allegations. The kids, caught in the crossfire, were placed in foster care pending the investigation. Michael's heart broke during supervised visits, stuck in a sterile room, unable to take Emily and Jacob for ice cream or answer their questions about why their family was falling apart. To strengthen his case, Michael reported Laura's tax evasion to the IRS, providing meticulous records of her illegal business. The truth unraveled in court. The IRS investigation revealed Laura owed over $200,000 in back taxes and penalties. She was arrested for tax fraud and parental kidnapping. The joint account money was seized, leaving Michael with nothing but his paycheck. Laura faced years in prison, and Michael was granted temporary custody of Emily and Jacob. The house, paid off with his legitimate earnings, remained his, offering a small anchor in the storm. Michael visited Laura in jail at her request, hoping for answers. "I'm sorry," she said, tears in her eyes. "You weren't enough for me anymore." Michael pressed her, his voice steady but raw. "We could have divorced like adults, Laura. Why the lies? Why take the kids and destroy everything?" She shrugged, defeated. "I wanted more." Her words stung, but they freed him. She'd planned her escape, built a secret life, and tried to ruin his. He walked away, vowing to rebuild for his kids. Life wasn't easy. Michael opened a new bank account, took on extra work, and arranged after-school care to keep Emily and Jacob in their activities. He wanted them to feel normal, not punished for their mother's choices. The kids returned to school, rejoined their friends, and slowly smiled again. Michael's anger faded, replaced by gratitude for having his children back. Laura's trial loomed, but Michael focused on the present, determined to give Emily and Jacob the stability they deserved. In the end, Michael didn't just survive, he triumphed. He uncovered Laura's secrets, protected his kids, and held her accountable. The cost was high: his savings, his trust, his sense of security, but his children were worth it. As he tucked Emily and Jacob into bed each night, he knew he'd done everything to keep them safe. Laura's punishment was her own making, and Michael's revenge was living well for his kids. What do you think about Michael's story? Was he right to turn Laura's crimes over to the IRS? Or should he have tried harder to save their marriage? How would you handle such a betrayal? Share your thoughts in the comments below, especially on the themes of justice and betrayal in relationships. Let's hear your perspective. Where do you stand?